Hey guys, it's TheFrXion here, Tiger Tank 12, how are you gonna call me? I don't really care. And welcome back to World of Tanks. Today we're going back to another gameplay. I thought I had a little bit too much of, previews and reviews and, generally talking about news of the game than playing the game and showing you guys gameplay of different kind of vehicles. So we're playing the bourrasque today, and the bourrasque totally is one of the best light tanks at tier 8. And the funny thing is, it is actually not a light tank. It is designated a medium tank, and to be fair, it totally should be a light tank. Its size alone should already warrant the designation light tank. But that is not to be, because this vehicle certainly has a very nasty kind of gun. And this gun is actually also on the EBR 105. It has the same exact characteristics, 105 millimeters of penetration, and 2 shells in a 2-round magazine. The high explosive shells also, they do not have the same kind of pen that the EBR 105 has, but they are very effective indeed. Especially handling tier 8s and maybe below, this vehicle can shine very well. But even at tier 10, it can be quite a good tank. So this game today, we're playing on the map TheFrXion, and I just wanted to show you guys the incredible potential that this tank has as a light tank, especially if you try to run it as a light tank. And that's what I've decided to do. I decided to go ahead and put the equipment on for a light tank, maybe add a little bit of some medium tank element, like more speed, but at the same time, this vehicle certainly does profit from all the equipment that you can put on, such as the optics equipment. And right here you can see already this bush, this position usually is a spot that people do tend to pre-fire, especially if they know that they are constantly being spotted right here. And the thing is, if we take a look at the map, you can see that the medium tanks on the enemy team are deciding to push into the city part, or shoot into the city part, because the Mouse and the T95 are currently trying to push on their own. So what we have right here is basically a massive overload of the enemy out on the field, and just us out here spotting all of them. And it's kind of funny because no one has actually tried to shoot this bush yet, and we do have a Foch 155, a Foch 150 in the back. 155, yeah, Foch 155. Oh my god, I'm a bit tired still, and he is actually firing high explosive. And if you saw previously, he managed to do 1,119 damage with a single shot to the CS-59 because he managed to penetrate that thing on the side. And I think at this point in time in the game, the enemy are kind of figuring out that somebody must be still out on the field, because they're constantly getting spotted. And you can see we're just going on. We're spotting all of these guys, and we're racking up our spotting damage to over 3,000, almost 4,000. And now comes the time where we need to figure out what are we going to be doing. Are we going to be engaging actively, or are we going to be sitting in this bush? And you can see with a camo net and with a good crew, this tank absolutely has the same values that a light tank does have. But in the end, it gets a little bit too dangerous for us. We decide to engage the Batchat 12T, take him out of the game, and there you can see just the incredible power that this gun has. 338 damage, a single shot. I think the average would be, is it 390? I don't think, no, 360. So it was actually a low roll as well. But you can see that we somehow managed to get out of the field alive. And the next part of play, though, is actually kind of a misplay on my part, because we decide to go back into the bush and try to spot for our team. The problem right there was that we did not account that the M41 90GF would still be able to spot us from the side because we did not expect them to go out. Excuse me, to move up around at A2. And now our team is basically without a scouting equivalent on the field, but they do have a pretty good line of defense that they've set up. So I think at this moment in the game, it was very important for us, quite essential, that we are able to control the city part and that we can one by one take out these light tanks or medium tanks out in the field. Now, what could we have done better? We could have fallen back even further, back to our cap, and maybe try to position ourselves right there where the Force 155 is. I'm not sure if we can, actually, we cannot switch the player because we have chosen to watch the SC-130 PM. And he gets knocked out, and the game now is on a knife's edge. But to be fair, we still have a full HP T-95. Well, he's probably not going to be full HP for a lot longer because the Progetto 65 is going to unload his entire clip into him right here. And we do have a mouse, which is going to be taking care of that Progetto because he was a little bit too greedy there. But this mouse now, as the sole tier 10 heavy tank in the game, with 832 hit points, is still going to be able to do quite a lot of damage on the enemy team. And right here you can see we're kind of switching through the players, just checking if we can get to the T62A, because now the entire script has kind of flipped. We still have part of the city, they have complete control of the field, and now our team cannot spot them because they're out on the field and we do not have someone out there with the view range to actually spot them. But no worries, we still have more tier 10s than they do. They only have a tier 10 artillery, while we still have 4 alive tier 10s, and most of them still at pretty high HP. And now basically it's all about one of our guys having to push one flank and then, you know, rounding up the last remaining survivors. But you can see the mouse is trying to push the G line, no, actually the 0 line. And as you can look over there, you can see that the mouse is actually getting pummeled by a lot of shots. Now, unfortunately, I did not switch around because I think I was just all tabbing out of the game. But I still wanted to be in this game just in case that, you know, it would get like super interesting in the end. And we decided to switch over to the mouse, I think, just in a second. Now we're still on the T62A. I think I'm hoping for the T62A to spot something on the field. But now we're on the mouse and the T62A actually does spot the Lansen C. We're switching over to the Lansen C and the T62A, and tragedy strikes as the T62A is not able to finish off the Lansen C, having taken one hit prior, probably by the Lansen C or the AMX-30, and being taken out of the game by the by the Lansen C. So now we kind of have a problem because we obviously know that the mouse is going to be spotted and targeted by artillery and other tanks that are in their spawn. But we're lucky, the mouse is lucky, he bounces the AMX-30. Well, I think a lot of us expected that. They do spot the AMX-30 because our team is doing some very good supporting action right here. The Leopard PTA is moving with the mouse. The T95 is moving up with the mouse as well. The artillery does finish off the tier 10 heavy tank, but we still do have 2 tier 9s pushing the base. And this Force 155, this was kind of awkward. He's just driving into the field and he's just firing. He's probably lagging. At this stage, I was like thinking about lag because I could not explain this situation any other way. Now we have a very awkward kind of situation where the Force 155 is basically reloading, and he has a M41 90GF behind him, and you can see that this guy is really lagging. But luckily for us, the artillery is going to finish him off, because if this M41 would have survived there, we would have probably had a little bit of a problem in the base, especially artillery, and maybe we would have not been able to secure the win right there. But look at this. This game, in the end, was just a complete shit show. The T95 bouncing the WZ-120, I can totally understand that, because that thing is angled like some crazy Soviet tank. And luckily for us, our team manages to take out the final non-artillery player, or the final tank on the enemy team that is non-artillery. And now it's only the Batchat 155-58. So our T95 is probably just going to sit on cap, because what do you want to do in the T95? Do you want to go rushing around the field? Probably not. And the Leopard PTA is going to go look for the Batchat 155. And at this stage, I was already thinking that this is going to be ending in a 1 versus 1 situation between the Object 261 and the Batchat 155. And I think we're going to be right on that assumption just in a second. So the Leo is moving out onto the field, and we know that the artillery is either in the city or he's on the field out here somewhere. We know that he's not capping at the moment because there's no cap sign, but chances are pretty good that he's out on the field, because our tanks went through the city. They probably would have spotted him if he would have run or ran that way in the end. So there is our artillery, and it's a one-on-one situation. Unfortunately, we skipped too late. The Object 261 has already stunned the Batchat 155, and our Leopard PTA snipes him from afar, and the game is done. All in all, a pretty damn good game in the bourrasque. 5,435 spotting damage. We did not do a lot of damage, only 338, but it shows you the incredible potential that this tank has as a light tank, even though it is a medium tank. And I think this is one of the most liked premium tanks that Wargaming have released in the last 1 or 2 years. Definitely a very good tank, maybe too good for the tier, but still not as easy to play because of the lack of single track movement, since you'll have to like move both tracks to turn, and you cannot just I think, what was it with the tracks that you cannot drive, or you cannot move a single track backwards and the other one forwards, because that technology was not on this tank yet. So you have to turn like a car with this tank, because the turn radius is pretty ridiculous. But yeah, I hope you guys did enjoy this gameplay and commentary, and I see you guys on the next one.